En esta 14ª conferencia de las plataformas de investigación biomédica no podíamos dejar de echar un vistazo a lo que está pasando fuera de nuestras fronteras y en concreto en el entorno europeo que tanto nos afecta. Dentro vídeo.
Horizonte Europa 2021-2027 es un ambicioso programa de la Unión Europea cuyo objetivo es fortalecer sus bases científicas y tecnológicas. Para ello, la Unión invertirá más de 95.000 millones de euros que generarán empleo y consolidarán a la comunidad en materias de investigación y desarrollo. Dentro de este desafío se encuentra el desarrollo del Clúster Europeo de Salud, un proyecto que tratará de mejorar y proteger la salud y el bienestar de los ciudadanos, integrando soluciones innovadoras y una perspectiva de género mucho más inclusiva. Del mismo modo, aspirará a crear una Europa más resistente y preparada ante nuevas amenazas, en la que la tecnología será la base para garantizar una asistencia sanitaria más accesible y de calidad. La Unión Europea también colaborará con el sector privado en forma de partenariados público-privados, como la Innovative Health Initiative, el siguiente paso al exitoso proyecto Imi. Si alcanzamos estos objetivos en materia de investigación e innovación, sentaremos las bases de una economía europea más sólida, sostenible y competitiva, que beneficiará a todos los Estados miembros.
Del objetivo de contribuir a la construcción de una Europa más resistente y sólida ante futuras emergencias sanitarias, pero también más sostenible y competitiva, nos han venido a hablar los participantes en el próximo coloquio. Van a estar moderados por la responsable de proyectos de I+D del Centro para el Desarrollo Tecnológico Industrial, CDTI, Marta Gómez Quintanilla. ¿Qué tal, Marta? Es tu turno. Cuando quieras.
Hola, muy buenos días, Isabel. Muchas gracias por la introducción y bienvenidos todos a esta mesa redonda. Como habéis visto en la agenda, tenemos invitados internacionales y por eso esta sesión va a tener lugar en inglés. So, I switch to English. We have a round table called New International Initiatives in Biomedical Research Collaboration. And we will be focused on the current European Framework Programme for Research and Innovation, Horizon Europe, which will be enforced from 2021 to 2027. The general objective of this round session is to disseminate relevant information about the opportunities that will be open for biomedical research collaboration within this program. We have already seen the video that introduces some relevant data on the program, but we will go deeper and we will have some general overview of the program and some outline and figures. This program is about to be adopted today. We are waiting for the publication in the official journal of the European Union, so we are in the news. So it is very relevant, this session today, and quite timely. In this session, we will explain very briefly some relevant initiatives within the program Horizon Europe, in which the collaborative research and innovation in this biomedical field is at the center. We will talk about the health cluster and its partnerships. We will talk about the innovative health initiative and the cancer mission. And who knows if we will extend this more in the discussion. To achieve these goals, I'm not alone today. We have today with us excellent speakers, very well experienced in research collaboration in this field. I won't read the CV, but I will name them with their position. We have Carmen Laplaza, Head of Unit in the Health Innovation and Ecosystems Unit within the Directorate General for Research and Innovation at the European Commission. We have also Magda Chlebus, Executive Director of Scientific and Regulatory Affairs at the European Federation of Pharmaceutical Industries and Associations, Efpia. And we will have also Gonzalo Arévalo, Vice Director for International Research Programs and Institutional Relations at the Institute of Health Carlos III. So I'm very well accompanied today, and we will start now with some brief initial presentation of the speakers, and then later on we will open the debate. So I will start with you, Carmen Laplaza. Could you please introduce us Horizon Europe and the health cluster, please?
Thank you, Marta. Indeed, thank you for the nice words and introduction. Actually, it's very timely. Indeed, we are waiting as you for the adoption of the Horizon Europe framework program by the legislator. So great day today. I will talk you a little bit indeed about Horizon Europe in general and about the Cluster 1. Horizon Europe's main objective is to strengthen the technological and scientific basis of the Union, fostering its competitiveness and also allowing for delivering on the EU strategic political priorities and continue tackling global challenges. Horizon Europe is going to build in the success of its predecessor, Horizon 2020, in particular on the creation of excellence through EU-wide competition and collaboration, also the critical mass that managed to attract in order to tackle these challenges, global challenges, and the increase of the attractiveness of the European Union as a place to carry out research. So in this sense, Horizon Europe is going to be more an evolution than a revolution. But of course, there are some novelties, and I think that the most important word that I would like to put the finger on for you is the aim to achieve more impact. This is what mainly defines the difference between Horizon Europe. What it really wants to achieve more impact from the research activities. It's clear that in this very changing world, fastly changing world, Europe's success will increasingly depend on the ability to transform excellent scientific results into innovation that has a real impact on our society, on our economy, on our quality of life, and that manages also to create new markets and with more skilled jobs. So how can what examples could I give you on how this aim to achieve more impact will be translated? One of those was what was showed in the video, this new concept of missions. Obviously, missions are absolutely aimed to achieve impact, tangible impact. Another example would be the creation of the European Innovation Council, one of the three pillars of Horizon Europe, together with the European Research Council, more tackling fundamental research, and the pillar 2, which will be more the focus of today, which is the pillar where cluster 1 on health is, and which is supposed to tackle global challenges and the competitiveness of the European industry. So another example of this aim of achieving impact is an increased look to synergies. So we will be very attentive to looking for more synergies with other European funding programs, with a view to increase the uptake of research results at national and regional level, but also additional synergies also with the policy making, because we want to ensure that the evidence that comes out of research is really entering into the policy making and has an increased impact. So to go back to cluster 1, health, which is what interests you most, as I said, this is part of pillar 2. This cluster will have a budget of 8.2 billion. Horizon Europe in total is around 95 billion, so 8.2 will be allocated specifically to health. The challenge that the health cluster is aiming to tackle are obviously, between other things, the demographic change that is having it's adding a lot of pressure to the healthcare systems, but also we will look at how to increase resilience, how to ensure more resilient provision of healthcare, and also how to look at equity. Many of the things that, even though they were already there in the program, have been further demonstrated or put the finger on through this COVID crisis that we are still immersed in. We believe that for tackling all these challenges, research and innovation has a very important role. For example, by increasing the capabilities and the knowledge, increasing the understanding of health and disease, developing innovative methodological and technological solutions to better manage health conditions, but also to design and sustainable approaches in order to ensure a digital transformation and the delivery of integrated, equitable, and person-centered healthcare services. So this will be mainly the focus of this cluster. what could be new as compared to the past? What are the main aspects that change between the cluster 1 and the societal challenge 1 of Horizon Europe? Of Horizon 2020. I would mainly talk about the digitalization and personalization of healthcare that are going to cut across all different intervention areas. I could also mention the importance that healthcare systems and environment and health will have in this new cluster, with specific areas of intervention for those, for the systems and for the environment. I would also mention the more socioeconomic aspects, in particular health economics, because those aspects are very important in order to ensure the uptake. Gender aspects as well that will be fully mainstreaming, so they will become compulsory, not only for health, this is for all Horizon Europe, but of course very important, particularly in health. And yeah, of course, another novelty will be the mission on cancer that will be discussed further later on. Many different fields of activity will be covered by Cluster 1, and they will be mainly structured in 6 destinations. The first destination, tackling with staying healthy, prevention, healthy aging. Second will be more looking at the environment, as I mentioned, how to promote health promoting environments. Third dimension, tackling disease. The fourth destination will be the one looking at healthcare systems. All the destination will be focusing on how to modernize, improve, and ensure the sustainability of healthcare systems. The fifth destination will be the most technological one, will be looking at how to ensure the uptake of new tools, technologies, and digital solutions in this sector. And the last destination will be mainly focusing on the health industry. Cluster 1 will be mainly implemented through grants to collaborative projects, but grants also to contracting authorities we will pursue with funding of innovation procurement topics. And of course, we will also use other instruments such as the mission on cancer, and there will also be several partnerships in the form of joint undertakings like ISCiii, the Innovative Health Initiative that will be referred later on, but also co-funded partnerships with member states in particular. So we expect that the framework program will be adopted today, and as concerns the work program, the first work program of Cluster 1 covering 2021 and 22, we expect it to be adopted in the coming weeks. And I think that's enough as introduction for Horizon Europe and Cluster 1.
Yes, thank you very much for synthesizing in only 7 minutes the main issues in Horizon Europe, but we will go deeper in the debate. Now is your turn, Magda. Tell us more about the Innovative Health Initiative, please.
Thank you so much, Marta, and thank you for inviting me. And I'm sorry to not be able to do it in Spanish, maybe next time. But in any case, I think I would like to build on what Carmen said about the impact. And as you invited me to speak about the future partnership Innovative Health Initiative that would build on the successes and achievements of IMI, but still be different from the Innovative Medicines Initiative, I'd like to insist on the word impact and the impact we would like to have in terms of transformational effect of activities that we would be running there, as well as translational power of collaboration. So how can we, by working together, translate ideas into interventions much faster than what we can do today? And just to give you an example of what I mean, and I could pick any therapeutic area, I just picked asthma. So what if we could help kids and adults with resistant asthma to live the lives they want to live? Not the lives that today's interventions allow them to live, but to really have normal lives and the ones that they choose. For that, we need to understand the resistance and address the resistance of asthma, and also offer the best suite of interventions to the patients so that they can indeed manage their disease in real time in a much more effective way that can be done today. the starting point is there for the patient, and then the product is not the key. The product is, and the combination of different products and services are at the service of that. And as you see, because we are talking about integration of technologies to resolve a problem and integration of products in order to address patients' needs, health prevention, disease management in a much more effective way, it is clear that no sector alone, and neither public nor private nor any industry sector alone, can actually address it effectively. And this is what stands behind the philosophy that is behind the setup of the Innovative Health Initiative, a new public-private partnership building on, as I said, on the principles of public-private collaboration and pre-competitive research that was shepherded under the Innovative Medicines Initiative, but which, differently from IMI, rather than being a partnership between one industry sector and the European Commission and the public sector, it's a partnership between 5 industry sectors dealing with data, diagnostics, device, drugs and vaccines and delivery systems, and on the one hand, and then the public partners on the other hand, to realize that vision of more effective prevention, treatment, and management of disease and of health. One point is, while, as I said, the Innovative Health Initiative will be building on the successes of IMI, it is also a brand new from the point of view of integration of sectors and technologies. And this partnership is completely unique. We don't know about any other setup that would create this integrative approach at such a scale as the one that is proposed by IHI today. Now, we should say it is still in the making. The partnership doesn't exist yet. The draft legislation proposed by the Commission has just been released for the legislative process, and if all goes according to plans, we should see the legislation being delivered or adopted in the last quarter of this year, which means that the first calls for proposals could probably be published towards the end of this year, like December, or at the latest early 2022. As I said, if everything goes to plans, and we cannot preempt any result. So what is the biggest difference between IMI and IHI? And then I will get to the point of where to learn more and what to expect from the calls. So first, I think there are sort of 3 big differences. The first one, as I said, it's IMI was one industry sectors, although we had a lot of sectors joining forces. They were sort of invitees, while in this new partnership, the different industry sectors and 5 trade associations make a commitment to bring their companies on board in a really structural way. So we are all there on a common footing, on the same footing, level playing field, with the same rights and obligations. So it's not inviting others, but really working together to join. Much more emphasis is on this integration of technologies and working together, developing new quality and new solutions by bringing together industry sectors that maybe do not really work together. The second difference is this pre-competitive space. In the past, we were working in the pre-competitive space between the pharmaceutical companies in the Innovative Medicines Initiative with 10 years of experience. We will have to build a new pre-competitive space between the different industry sectors. So it's very much a journey, a discovery, but we are very hopeful that this would really deliver this better quality of health and health management to the patients. On the more governance side and organizational side, IMI was starting with ideation within industry and then consultation with stakeholders. This time, the proposal is to turn things around and to start from the consultations, from input from the stakeholders before making a final decision. And final big difference is in IMI, there were 2-stage calls where industry and public partners applied separately. This would still be maintained in the Innovative Health Initiative, but we would also go into faster, leaner, one-stage processes with more projects per topic and much shorter time to grant, we hope. So now turning to what can be expected when. So as I said, the legislation is not yet adopted, so we don't know exactly when the first call would be published. However, you can already see the thinking about the scope and the type of activities in the different documents that the Commission has published during the consultations. But there is also a website, www.euhealthppp.org in one word, and you can find there an older version of a strategic research agenda and illustrations. We call them case studies, but these are illustrations of what the partnership could be about. A new version of the strategic research agenda should be published in the course of May, we hope, and at that point you would be able to start thinking about the type of collaborations that could be done in the context of that partnership. But of course, the topics, the concrete topics, would not be known before the fourth quarter of this year. Yeah, I think I would probably stop here, and again, happy to provide more information during the discussion.
Great, Marta. Don't tell us everything now. We have a debate later on, so we will have time. Now we have Gonzalo Arévalo that will enlighten us on what is the Cancer Mission, this new initiative.
Yes, well, first of all, thank you to the organizers for inviting me and inviting the Carlos III National Health Institute to be here in this roundtable. And good morning also to my fellows in this roundtable. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today. Well, I think that either Carmen, Marta, and Magda refer the key word when we speak about mission, no? And it's the impact, no? Missions, as you all know, is one of the main novelties of the Horizon Europe program. And at the end, the main idea that is behind the missions is to find a challenging global objective to which, by pooling resources and multidisciplinary approach, we can invest resources towards a common goal. As you know, there are 5 missions in the Horizon Europe program, okay, and all of them are somehow related to the Horizon to the health, sorry. But there is one specific under the cluster 1, the cluster devoted to health, that it is the cancer missions. The main goal of the goal that has been established for the cancer mission is to save more than 3 million lives of EU citizens by the year 2030. And it is not only a question of saving lives, but making all of them or all of us, because we don't know who can be in this position, to live longer and with a better quality of life. Okay, and this is focused to as Carmen referred to, the aging challenge that we have in Europe, that as we live longer, we are more exposed to cancer. Okay, the cancer mission is structure, and how to confront the cancer mission is structured in 5 pillars. 2 of them are horizontal pillars, and 3 we can say that they are vertical. The 2 horizontal ones are, on one hand, the understanding, okay, and on the other hand, a key challenge in the approach that we will do for the cancer mission, that it is ensuring equitable access. And the 3 vertical pillars are focused on prevention, prevent the preventable, on optimized diagnosis and treatment, and certainly on better support of the quality of life. Okay, I think that this was also pointed out by Carmen, that there is a very important fact that the the cancer mission is going to be running in parallel with the EU cancer beating plan that was just presented in February this year. Okay, as a very big effort that will be done at European level to fight against cancer. Okay, and this EU beating cancer plan is going to be supported from the Commission side by the EU for Health program. So we will have both initiatives running in parallels, okay? And we are already seeing how, from the Commission side, but also from the country side, from the member state side, we are coordinating efforts and joining forces. That it is very important if we want to, at the end, to get the results that we want. Okay. It is foreseen that not for the cancer mission only, but for cancer, the Commission is going to invest around 4,000 million euros or 4 billion euros in the English acception. Okay, for the next years, for the 21 to 27 period, and this will be split not only through the or this will run not only under the EU Horizon Europe program, okay, but also split through the EU for Health and through that was also referred by Carmen through the Digital Europe program. Okay, so we will have these three policies with these three instruments that are key in order to devote to devote the results that we are looking for. Okay, and as I said, I think that we expect that this will have an impact also in the way that the different countries we confront cancer. Okay, by impacting on how we develop our strategies or research and innovation programs. To conclude in this first presentation, I want to refer that, well, we are willing to see that the calls for the cancer missions are already launched and the program in general is launched, but we expect is that although for the first year, for the 2021, there won't be more than a few preparatory initiatives in order to launch the cancer mission. Okay, we will see that in the normal, let's say in the normal health program, we will see that some topics that originally were not open for the cancer research will be open, and then after 2022 we will have then the topics devoted to the cancer missions. I think I can stop here if you want, and then in the debate I'm sure that we can enter more into the details. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The three of you have set the basis for this debate, so we open now the discussion part. I didn't say that at the very beginning, but I'm very happy that all the platforms allow us to be in this session, because this international collaboration and research and innovation in the biomedical field should be seen at national, European and international level. So I'm very thankful that they allow me to moderate and they choose these great speakers for today. And we will go deeper on this collaboration. Carmen, what are the main political drivers that affect the Horizon Europe? Because you've talked about priorities, but an impact. Impact has been the key word in all these three presentations. But what means impact? What we are referring to when we say impact? Are there any political drivers, policies, action plans that are especially relevant in our field?
Well, I would say that for the Commission, there are two clear political priorities that I think Horizon Europe is going to significantly contribute to, and these are mainly the green and the digital transitions. So, for example, 50% of the MFF needs to be contributing to these green and digital transitions, and in this amount, for example, Horizon Europe will play an important role because at least 35% needs to be devoted to tackle the climate objectives, and there needs to be an increase as concerns what was, for example, as concerns what was invested in digitization in the past in Horizon 2020. So clearly, green and digital transition will be the important political priorities that Horizon Europe will target as well with its activities. Obviously, as concerns Cluster 1, there will be other priorities, more focus on health. Gonzalo already referred to the importance of cancer. Indeed, cancer is an important political priority for the Commission. There is the European Beating Action Cancer Plan. There is the mission on cancer. So this will be one of the political priorities that the Cluster 1 will contribute to, with a specific mission on cancer, but also indirectly from different parts of the program, because let's not forget that health will be tackled as well, not only in Pillar 2, but also through the other pillars of Horizon Europe. I would say as well that there are important political actions that have just been launched by this Commission. For example, let me refer to the Pharmaceutical Strategy. Obviously, we will have to contribute in order to provide evidence to the aims of this strategy. And from another perspective, for example, to the building of the European health data space, it's also one of the priorities. We need to really ensure the use and reuse of health data for secondary purposes more than in the past. This is something that is there since a long time, but now this Commission is putting an important priority there and support. So there will be several topics, for example, in Horizon Europe that will be Cluster 1 that will be aiming to build on this European health data space. So basically, I think that those will be the main political priorities that we will tackle in the future.
Thank you very much, Carmen. And now that you've mentioned the European plan on cancer, maybe Gonzalo, you can build on the relation of this cancer mission with other EU policies and programs. You've introduced that in your speech, but maybe you can clarify better how is this very related. The mission and the cluster and the initiative, these initiatives are not isolated. They are all connected and really in relation with this policy. So can you please explain more about this?
Yes, certainly. I think that indeed we are facing a very interesting momentum on these regards, because we have from the European side, I would say, the three policies that want to intervene in this case towards cancer. Okay, on one hand we have the health policy, and I think that here we have the main news because we are going, or it was already approved a couple of weeks ago, the new EU for Health program. Okay, that it's succeeding the previous DG's Ante program, but it is a completely change of everything. I would say, in terms of funding, there will be around 12 times more budget than in the previous program. This means that only for this year, it is expected that there will be around, I think, if I am right, around 325 million euros in calls for this program, when the whole amount in the former period, 2014-2020, was around 400 something million euros. Okay, and this is the first year where the less resources are addressed. So this means that through this program, there will be a larger set of opportunities, and this program aims to intervene specifically and to be a supportive tool for the implementation of the EU cancer beating plan. Okay, so certainly there is a specific policy from the Union and from the or on the health area, okay, focused to this. On the other hand, as I also refer, we have the digitalization, okay, and the digitalization has to do to what Carmen referred, that it is the European Health Data Space Program, but not only, okay, and here we will have also opportunities in the frame of artificial intelligence that also has something to say in the change of the health practice for the next years. So I would say, summarizing, that we have to work together through these three policies and through these three programs in order to be able to, at the end, return to the society the investments that they are doing. Thank you.
Great, Gonzalo. And now, Magda, I'm sure that you can also say that how IMI contribute to the EU policy, but I want you also to remember us what are the key novelties that brings this new initiative and will make this collaboration better in the future, in this future initiative. And I would like also to remind that even if I ask one question to one of you, you can also reply and contribute to others, because we are here and among us we can do better as we are talking in the European arena. Magda, please.
Thank you, Marta. So maybe I'll take it where I left it when I've done my introduction, and just to highlight again that and insisting that every program that it's new goes through improvement cycles. So we are learning from the past and improving the next program and making it better, more connected and more efficient. So I think that holds true for IMI, that would hold true for the Innovative Health Initiative in the future. The key differences really is about this integration, the 5 industry sectors coming together and working in a prospectively planned way, rather than serendipity taking existing products off the shelf, is to look at how we can together plan and deliver better integrated interventions, combined interventions to the patients, or how can we use our technologies in order to better address questions like prevention and prediction, redesigning patient care around integrated care, better use of data, and multiple sources of data. Each sector generates different data, and then looking at new ways of developing our products and integrated or combined products, and also at evaluating them, making sure that they deliver the value that they promise to offer. So that's the first key difference, I would say, which makes it different, and that would bring with each of the new sectors their own players and ecosystems. And I think COVID has shown more than ever how important the translational research ecosystem is, the infrastructures, the skills, the capabilities, but also the tools that help better communicate, and the culture of collaboration on which we are building. I think Europe is really very good at that, as shown by all the programs, and we can be top collaborators in the world, and to be really the first in class. I think we are. The second point, the second difference is, as I've said, is the starting point. The starting point is the patient, not the product. So we are going to look at some concrete transformational, from point of view, impacts, and define them together with the stakeholders. So it is the way we ideate together with stakeholders rather than alone, is the second big difference. And the third big difference is this time to grant. We hope that by putting in place also one-stage calls, so where public and private partners create a consortium and apply together, in addition to the bigger, heavier two-stage process, which is also valuable, but in certain defined cases, we will also shorten time to grant and make it faster. So in summary, more inclusivity, faster, and more transparent as a result.
Thank you very much. And if nobody wants to add, well, you already know that we have here the industrial representative and the Commission representative in this initiative. So together they will build in the future this initiative if everything goes okay as planned. So we are talking about happy things, but we have to know that COVID pandemic is still here, has been here, and will be for some time, and has opened our eyes to something that might happen, and we have to be resilient and prepared. So, Carmen, how is this pandemic affected this cluster building and Horizon Europe building in general? Are there any priorities expected in this regard?
Thank you, Marta. And yes, indeed, we are working very closely with Magda on the development of the future innovative health initiative. Is really we are members into that endeavor. So indeed. But coming back to COVID, yes, of course, COVID has affected us all, and in this sense, obviously, has also affected to a certain extent the cluster one. But actually, many of the things that we had already foreseen, because we are working on this Horizon Europe Cluster 1 program since a long time, and even before the crisis started. So many of the things that we had foreseen have proved as real must to be tackled. The resilience of the healthcare system was already there in our plans, for example, just to give an example. So, of course, to become concrete, yes, there has been already published in the context of Horizon Europe a new emergency call, which, by the way, is the first work program that has come out before even the normal, in theory, work program is adopted, precisely to tackle the issue of COVID variants in the same way that we did last year in Horizon 2022 expression of interest related to tackling COVID. So obviously COVID is still there, and we will continue to support how we can better tackle this pandemic. And of course, to a certain extent, some topics have been added more directly related to the tackling of this kind of pandemics. Just to give an example, some focus will be given, for example, to personalized medicine of these infectious diseases, because we have seen that it does not affect in the same way to all individuals. So it is good to further research and understand what is why it is affecting all of us differently. But I would like to say that the impact has been to a certain extent, because let's not forget that because of this pandemic, to which we have allocated many resources, both at European and at national level, which absolutely were needed, but there are other areas that have been left a little bit aside. So we have tried to remain loyal to the areas that we had seen in the past as that were needed to be a priority from a research perspective, and these areas will still be there. So yes, of course, the pandemic has impacted to a certain extent the work program, but we will not forget all the other areas, all the other conditions, and all the other elements that need to be tackled in order to ensure an optimal healthcare provision.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. And now we will go on the building of the initiative. Magda, you've said already in the introduction that some consultations have been taking place in the building of the proposal. Can you enlarge this part of your speech and how stakeholders' participation is envisaged not only in the building and proposal, but also in the implementation? And if Carmen wants to add something, you are invited also. Please, Magda, start.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to defer that all to Carmen, although I would love actually that she replies first that question. But let me try. I think we had so the legislation isn't yet there. So we don't know exactly how every process would work. But I can talk about the intent, and the intent is definitely to have more interactions with the stakeholders during the ideation, during the implementation. So I think what had probably been the weakness of IMI, or perceived weakness of IMI, was the fact that nobody knew how the topics were actually coming about. So in order to make the process more inclusive, there would be, and it is in the legislation, a proposal to set up a stakeholders panel, an innovation panel that would consist of representatives of key stakeholders group that would provide that input all along the process on the strategic research agenda, on topics, on priorities, etc. So I think this is really a significant change in the philosophy, where transparency starts from the very beginning, from the very start of the reflection. And I think this is really the key change. Then in terms of in implementation and involvement of stakeholders, the calls would be there. So it is the normal, I would say, normal European process of recruiting stakeholders. And we hope that by creating a neutral space for collaboration that would be moderated by an office like the IMI office does today and acts as a neutral broker, that this neutral brokerage would allow everybody, public and private partners, companies from all horizons and all stakeholders from all horizons to actually apply and participate. So including public and private in places where collaboration doesn't necessarily happen. The last point is about the who can contribute from outside of the 5 trade associations, because in IMI we had Efpia and the European Commission as the 2 key partners and founding members, and then we've created that very important category of associated partners, those either companies or non-profit organizations that were not part of the founding members' constituencies, but who wanted to contribute to the projects, and we wanted to make sure that it is an inclusive setup, and some money was ring-fenced for these collaborations. And the same would happen now. I think even that the system that IMI has pioneered is now being expanded to other partnerships, and we would continue this aspect of contributing partners. So those who are not part of the 5 associations, but who want to come and contribute, that would be the possibility for investors of different horizons than one of the 5 industry associations to actually come on board and contribute with their contributions, whether in cash and in kind. I think this just shows that we are really very sensitive to being inclusive and letting stakeholders in, but also making them to make the partnership.
Thank you, Magda. Would you like to comment on this, Carmen?
Actually, no, just to reinforce what Magda said, I fully agree. I think, for example, the creation of the innovation panel is a very good example of what is the aim. And this is precisely to involve more stakeholders at all stages. So apart, obviously, from the scientific experts that will be also in place for experts that are very important in order to ensure afterwards the uptake of results. We always come back to impact, but the healthcare professionals, regulators, patients will be also part of this innovation panel, representatives from them at least, and that will mean that the discussions between the Commission and the industry will be open also to other people. They will be able to propose, for example, what the priorities in their opinion are, how to, they will be able to already influence this process, and at the same time these discussions will be probably more open and transparent by having this body where the industry and the Commission will sit as well. But yeah, I fully agree with what Magda said on that regard. Thank you.
Yeah, I know that some questions are not easy, but you were already prepared for this because we had some criticism.
Just to add, no, I would just like to add that obviously everything which we are saying cannot preempt the outcome of the legislative process, because this is in the hands of the legislators. So can only talk about proposals for the time being, but let's hope for the best. For the time being, things are going in the right direction.
Yes, I was going to comment that it is a legislative process, and member states are commenting on that also, so we will have our say as member states. So, but we are just talking about what has been proposed and what is on the table. We know that the outcome might be different, but we are talking on the ideas that are around the table. So everybody can be
informed. By the way, Marta, sorry to cut you, but by the way, the member states will be also part of this innovation panel. I didn't mention explicitly, but of course, member states will be also part of this as it is proposed.
You are completely right. Thank you very much. And now, Gonzalo, talking about collaboration and building new things like this new cancer mission, to which extent the Commission is working with member states and with different stakeholders like all type of scientists and everything, but also patients and citizens in the design of this cancer mission.
Yes, thank you, Marta, for this question. Yes, well, if you allow me, okay, one of the current mantras that we have now in these days is the co-creation, okay, and this is behind not only, I would say, for the implementation of these EU programs, but we also see this at national level, okay, that it is part of the process. And I think, well, it's a good way of taking the different sensibilities, the different considerations, and the different point of views at the end of all the stakeholders, okay? The handicap here is how to equalize all the information and all the feedback that it is received through all these kind of, let's say, stakeholders. Okay. In the case of the cancer mission, I would say this was not an exception. Okay, we assist to the creation of a mission board of experts composed of 15 experts, if I am not wrong. Not necessarily representatives from each member states, because the numbers were different depending on each of the missions, and they served during the first years in the preparation of the different missions, or in the case of the cancer mission, to develop a first document that can put in place the core of what the mission would be, and to develop some guideline or a document on how this can be done. Okay, and this was done by experts that were selected by the Commission through an open call. Linked to this, and on regards of getting, let's say, the scientific expertise for the cancer mission, we had also the mission assembly. Okay. That it is a sort of extension of these experts, but with representation of all member states, so from scientists from all member states. Okay, and it has been, let's say, a supporting board in order to give advice to the mission board. Okay, so on one hand we have this kind of boards. On the other hand, the states we have been represented. Okay, through a board composed of specific representatives from member states for each of the cancer missions. Okay, and we have been having a several number of meetings through the last months and the last 2 years. Yes, I would say, in order to give the point of view from, let's say, from the in my case, from the science and innovation authorities, for the implementation of the in this case of the cancer mission. Okay, so we have assist to this mixture of different boards for which we have been trying to give our point of view for the implementation. And also, as you point out that in the question, the Commission has been looking for what the citizens have to say about the missions. My opinion on this respect is that the fact that we have had the pandemic in the midterm of this has affected a lot on how the citizens would have been able to intervene, because the idea would have been to have citizens since the very beginning in some kind of opening debates with the rest of stakeholders. Okay, and I think that the fact of the pandemic has difficult to have this in a better manner implemented in the development of the mission. What I have to say is that this approach has also served us, as I would say, from a country side, because since the very beginning we have tried to develop, let's say, the mirror groups that look to this European boards developed for the mission, no? And in the case of Spain, as we already had a first meeting for the preparation of the mission in June 2018, so June 29, sorry, so 2 years ago now, it served us to already had, let's say, a large group of stakeholders to whom we can have been able to consult all the information that we have developed, that we have been receiving, and try to give the feedback in an appropriate manner in the different boards in which we are involved. So, for concluding, I would say that yes, we have this kind of different groups in order to integrate these different opinions and to be helpful for the creation of, in this case, of the cancer mission. But I would say that certainly the difficulties that all these meetings that were only able to be presential meetings at the beginning, well, I would say it has been a handicap in order to be able to devote a more, I would say, a better advice to the Commission. But these were the circumstances, and we tried to do it as the best as we could. Thank you.
Thank you, Gonzalo. So we have challenges ahead of us for the next steps in the cancer mission, and I guess in every part of our lives and in Horizon Europe also. So we will continue with Carmen now. Can you tell us briefly what other partnerships are included in the health cluster? Because we've talked about ISCiii and the cancer initiative, but we have more, don't we?
Yes, indeed. Even though the objective was a rationalization of the landscape of partnerships and have been reduced as compared to Horizon 2020, in the cluster health, we have a few. So apart from IHI, we have also another joint undertaking to tackle mainly infectious diseases of sub-Saharan Africa, the continuation of the EDCTP. And then we have several, in principle, co-fund partnerships, so partnerships between the Commission and the European Union and member states. I can mention a few of them, mainly those that will be part of this first strategic plan that is englobing the 4 first years of Horizon Europe. So this year, in 2021, there will be a call for a co-fund to tackle the assessment of the chemical risk in the context of our efforts in environment and health. Then there will be a co-fund to support the transformation of healthcare systems, in particular looking at the sustainability and at the digitization of healthcare systems. There will be also co-funds targeting rare diseases. They will start a little bit later in the process because there is still the EGP co-fund on rare diseases up and running. There will be also a co-fund on the personalized medicine. And also there will be co-funds targeting AMR, antimicrobial resistance. There will be also another co-fund targeting different areas that could be potentially where member states could join efforts without defining specifically what will be the specific health condition. It's called ERA for Health, and the main objective will be, as many of the other co-funds, to reinforce the building of the European, to re-strengthen the European research area in particular in the field of health. And last, the last co-fund that started preparation, well, and I'm saying co-fund, but it could be very well a co-program, it's not decided yet, is going to target the pandemic preparedness. So these are mainly those who are being prepared for this first strategic plan of Horizon Europe, Cluster 1.
Thank you very much. So the first 4 years, we have different priorities, not only COVID and the pandemic, but also we will tackle other very important areas of research that must be tackled, not only through collaborative projects, but also in collaboration with member states, industry, and other means that are needed for this important issue. So thank you very much for clarifying that the areas will be tackled in different ways, so the impact is achieved. That is the mantra that I will be repeating today because it is what it is. It is the important thing that what we do serves for a purpose and has an impact. It's not for the sake of research. It is to have an impact in something. And in relation with that, the impact on somebody is how patients and citizens are going to benefit from IHI when it's put into place. Maybe you can use an example from the previous initiative, or you can just explain how this is going to benefit, because at the very end, citizens and patients should benefit from this.
Absolutely, Marta. Thank you. Thank you for asking. It's really an important question. And measuring impact is not trivial, because some of the results that we are generating in those programs need to be implemented before you really see the impact. So you have the tool, but the result of using that tool would only be seen many years later. But I think just again the intent, and then I give some examples from IMI. The intent of the Innovative Health Initiative is to look at 4 areas: is to strengthen our ability to prevent and predict, so that we can bring the intervention much earlier, so that we can prevent or treat earlier, because we would understand the disease much better. So that's one impact that we are looking for. The second is redesigning the patient care around, as we've said, the combination of interventions, rather than each intervention separately and then stepping on each other's toes, is to look at how we can redesign these combinations around the patient and patient needs, so that they could be better outcomes at the end and back to normal and normal life much faster. The third one is better use of data. So that's the collaboration today depends on our ability to share, mine, and interpret data. Digital is all about data. So better use of data, looking at the experiences of what we know from the different sectors, public and private, and different data collected by different industries. And the concrete impact of that should be better understanding of the disease and more effective deployment of health solutions, and also better disease management by the patient through visualization of data, real life data, etc. So here the better use of data is both for the research, but it's also for the patient to have a much better service. And finally, looking at new ways of developing products, that means having, for example, clinical trials that are patient-centric, not as a buzzword, but really to bring the trial to the patient beyond clinical trials at home that we do in IMI today. So just to exemplify things, in IMI and some of the success stories is around creating new products and maintaining investments in areas which are disinvested. So in IMI, we have done Ebola as an emergency, but also antibiotics in the long run. And we have 1 or 2 first-in-class molecules that would be coming out of that, belonging both to public and to private partners. We created very strong clinical trial networks. This translational infrastructure I was discussing before will really directly benefit the economy, the citizens, but also the patients through better access to clinical trials in Europe, rather than getting the benefit of trials done somewhere else. And then all the digital tools, as a third example, I think we really have developed in these public-private collaborations tools that help to make a better use of patient data and create better outcomes for the patients in a GDPR friendly and compliant way. So doing GDPR compliant tools that help patients to deposit their data and to reuse their data for managing better health, it's something that we have created through a combination of, for example, the Eden project, the Pharma Ledger project on blockchain, and project like H2O, which is about observatories of outcomes, patient-reported outcomes, etc. So these are, I think, some examples that I could give at this stage.
These examples and how you envisage this impact in patients and citizens. And last question for you, Gonzalo. Can you briefly tell us what are the main challenges, opportunities for the implementation of the cancer mission, and also what is happening with initiatives that were before, like Transcan, in which, for example, Spain was financing projects. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Marta. Yes, I will start by the opportunities, and I would say just one opportunity. The aim of the mission is to save 3 million lives by 2030. Okay, so this means that the opportunity that we have with this mission is to have 3 million more people living and having normal lives in Europe. If we consider also their families, the effort of the caregivers, and all this, we can reach maybe that this would impact on a total population of around, and it is a calculation that I did just now when I was thinking on the question, maybe 10 million inhabitants. 10 million, it's a population of a medium country in the European Union. So the opportunity, I would say, is equivalent of having one medium country of the European Union active and present, and the alternative is not to have it with us. Okay, so this is the key opportunity, I would say, that we have. Challenges, well, there are a number of challenges. The first one, where to invest? Shall we invest in less frequent cancer diseases? Should we focus on those that are frequent but for which they are not adequate therapies? What is the right balance between prevention, early diagnosis, therapies, or caregiving? Okay, I would say one of the challenges is consider what we have already invested and how we can have a leverage impact in these investments that we have. Along the last years in Europe, the member states, but also the European Union has invested a lot of resources. So we have to see how we can better use these resources towards these great challenges. And certainly, again, there is a challenge that has been in all the debates that we have been having in the last 2 years, that it is how we can fight against the inequalities among member states and within the member states. Okay, that the solutions that we find with this effort can reach all the population within a country and without differences among the countries. I would say that this is the challenges. And going directly to the question that regarding the Transcan initiative, well, certainly and linked to the question that was answered by Carmen regarding the partnerships, the impact of the cancer mission, I would say that will be rather than more than positive in the different transnational calls that we will launch during the next years. It is true that we have to see how, let's say, that those current partnerships that exist, the ERANETs or the Young Programs, merge into the new ones. But what it is true is that through the next years, there will be larger amounts at the funding agencies in order to invest from the member states in these joint calls, because it's the only way of trying to solve these global challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gonzalo. You have the opportunity to say one last sentence, because we are approaching the closure of this session, in which you want to summarize or send a message to the audience on the area of your speech. Gonzalo, please start.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, well, I would say that impact is the key word, okay, for these years, but also the synchronize or the synergies among the different policies and the different programs that we will have also open, and that now is the time in order to go for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gonzalo. Magda, please.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and so much has been said. So for me, it would be, let's not underestimate the importance of public-private collaborations and their role, as said Commissioner Breton in the European Parliament just 2 days ago, their role in the role they would be playing in the economic recovery post-COVID. So they would be contributing also to the industrial policy and strategy, not only to the health policy. They are important. And the second sentence, if I may, is before we build new tools, and to the point that my predecessor said, we also need to build and implement the previous tools that were developed earlier and to build on that. And the digital projects is a perfect example of paving the highway to European health data space, national health data spaces, etc. So let's also put some emphasis on that.
Thank you very much, Magda. And Carmen, your time now.
Thank you. And indeed, I agree with Magda. A lot has been said. I would just like to end at least my intervention by saying thank you to you, to the organizers, to you, Marta, and to the other two speakers, because I think that if we want to achieve impact, the first thing is to engage with the stakeholders, and the organization of events like this can certainly help a lot in that regard. And last, just to engage with us, just to give an example, now there is an open consultation, an open public consultation launched by DG Sante on the creation of the European health data space. So please get back to us on what you think about that. This is just an example regarding to the digitization onto the data, but many times there are public consultations launched by different policy DGs of the European Commission or launched by us, and I think it's important that all European citizens, stakeholders have their say there, because that's very important for us in order to ensure that we are really putting forward proposals, putting forward initiatives that respond to real needs. And yes, I hope our first work program will be adopted as soon as possible, because there you will find, of course, all the necessary information to you for start working on how to engage with us, at least through the building of proposals. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the three of you, the organizers for inviting us, and the attendees for being there. We can see you, but we feel you in a way, so thank you very much for being there. Just a summary has been said in the last interventions of my colleagues, but I want to emphasize collaboration, co-creation, and impact. Together we have to build something different, better, and everybody can contribute. Open consultations, stakeholder consultations, meetings. So today I've been informed that it's published, so Horizon Europe is adopted. We have a news here today, and will open a lot of collaborative opportunities. So be open to collaborate and engage with us if you have further questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marta. Muchas gracias, Marta, y a los participantes de esta mesa por ayudarnos a comprender mejor cómo el proceso de globalización también es determinante para el futuro de nuestra salud.